Hello, how's it going, everybody? Let me just make sure this audio is working okay, and let's get this text up on screen here. Today we're going to be doing Proverbs chapter 15 and going all the way to 17. Let me get this text up here real quick. Come on. Excuse me. Where is it? Oh, there we go. All right, let me check to make sure this audio is not lagging. All right, we're perfect. So, Proverbs chapter 15. Oh, it's on 17. What we've been seeing is Solomon has been dropping some knowledge. He's been giving us some one-liners, some pro tips, life pro tips. We've been seeing each verse has been like its own saying, right? Its own little message, its own little chunk of knowledge, and we'll see if it continues in with today's reading. The early readings of Proverbs were directed to either Solomon's son or all of his children, and we were getting a much more we were getting longer passages with more context to it, the information. And then now it's been the last few readings, it has been just each verse is like boom boom, knowledge knowledge as it goes down. So let's see how it continues today with Proverbs chapter 15. I'll make sure the audio's on. There we go. All right.
Answer turns away wrath. A soft answer turns away wrath, but a harsh word stirs up anger. The tongue of the wise uses knowledge rightly.
So that's important already. A soft answer turns away wrath, but a harsh word stirs up anger. So you need to know when. You need to know when to use what type of voice, right? A soft answer turns away wrath. So if you don't want to get people angry, stir up anger. You don't want to cause a situation. A soft answer is required, right? So you have to be again with yesterday's and day before yesterday's reading. Always be mindful of your speech, the way what you're saying, how you're saying it.
But the mouth of fools pours forth foolishness.
So the tongue of the wise uses knowledge rightly, but the mouth of the fools pours forth foolishness. That's another repetition of one of his sayings that we read yesterday, where the mouth of the fools, they keep running their mouths and they spit out nonsense, versus the tongue of the wise uses knowledge rightly. They may not even speak in certain instances, but when they do speak, you listen, because they're coming from a different place, right?
The eyes of the Lord are in every place, keeping watch on the evil and the good.
That's something that they needed to hear back in Psalms. Remember when Asaph and Ethan and Heman and all of them were clamoring to find where God is? They felt like God had abandoned them, or God was angry with them. They're seeing all the wicked prospering while they were suffering and going through whatever they were going through. They thought that God wasn't there. But what does it say? The eyes of the Lord are in every place, keeping watch on the evil and the good. So they were thinking, God needs to judge the wicked justly, right? He needs to punish them, because that would be the just thing to do, right? We need to be blessed and they need to be punished, because we're abiding by your law. We're standing by you, and the wicked are being wicked. They're your enemies. So those guys need to be punished, and we need to be uplifted. And that wasn't happening. So they thought God has either turned his back on them, or he was angry with them. But what does it say here? The eyes of the Lord are in every place, keeping watch on the evil and the good. They were thinking like they needed to tell God, hey, look, those people, those wicked people, they're your enemies. Look what they're doing. You need to punish them. But God has already been watching. He keeps watch on the evil and the good. He already knows. He didn't abandon anybody.
A wholesome tongue is a tree of life, but perverseness in it breaks the spirit.
Again, continuing with the idea that following the path of wisdom and righteousness will lead to longevity. It's the path of longevity, the tree of life. Not just longevity, but all types of blessings, wealth, riches, all that.
A fool despises his father's instruction, but he who receives correction is prudent.
Sorry if that was too soft.
In the house of the righteous there is much treasure, but in the revenue of the wicked is trouble. The lips of the wise disperse knowledge, but the heart of the fool does not do so. The sacrifice of
the lips of the wise disperse knowledge, but the hearts of the fool does not to do so, right? Because the heart of the fool, right? They know they don't have the knowledge, and so in order to one up the person next to them, they don't want to disperse the knowledge. So they know something and then the other person doesn't know anything, right? Knowledge is power. So they don't want to disperse the knowledge because then they feel like they are in a position of power. Versus the wise come from a state of humbleness. You need to be humble in order to learn continually, to take correction. So from that state of humbleness, they don't feel the need to hold on to knowledge, to give themselves an upper hand or some sort of higher position, right? They're willing to spread that knowledge, to disperse that knowledge. So the wise are ever willing to listen and learn, and they're also willing to teach and spread that information. Though the unwise, the fool, are not willing to learn and not willing to spread that information. So that's the difference between the two.
But the heart of the fool does not do so. The sacrifice of the wicked is an abomination to the Lord, but the prayer of the upright is his delight.
We've seen
the
that
way of the
countless
wicked
times.
is an abomination to the Lord, but he loves him who follows righteousness. Harsh discipline is for him who forsakes the way, and he who hates correction will die. Hell and destruction are before the Lord, so how much more the hearts of the sons of men? A scoffer does not love one who corrects him, nor will he go to the wise. A merry heart makes a cheerful countenance, but by sorrow of the heart the spirit is broken. The heart of him who has understanding seeks knowledge, but the mouth of fools feeds on foolishness. All the days of the afflicted are evil, but he who is of a merry heart has a continual feast. Better is a little with the fear
with that
of the
longevity.
Lord than great treasure with trouble. Better is a dinner of herbs where love is than a fatted calf with hatred. A wrathful man stirs up strife, but he who is slow to anger allays contention. The way of the lazy man is like a hedge
reflecting
of
that first
thorns,
verse we read.
but the way of the upright is a highway. A wise son makes a father glad, but a foolish man despises his mother. Folly is joy to him who is destitute of discernment, but a man of understanding walks uprightly. Without counsel, plans go awry, but in the multitude of counselors they are established.
Talked
A
about it
man
yesterday.
has joy by the
Surround
answer
yourself
of his
with
mouth.
people.
And a word
Surround yourself with people that will help you grow, people that will lift you up. So your environment is extremely important, because if you surround yourself with wicked people, they'll drag you down. You want people that will help you and help you to continue to grow and be better.
spoken in due season, how good it is. The way of life winds upward for the wise, that he may turn away from hell below. The Lord will destroy the house of the proud, but he will establish the boundary of the widow. The thoughts of the wicked are an abomination to the Lord, but the words of the pure are pleasant. He who is greedy for gain troubles his own house, but he who hates bribes will live. The heart of the righteous studies how to answer, but the mouth of the wicked pours forth evil. The Lord is far from the wicked, but he
So all these are just pretty much
hears the
saying
prayer of the righteous.
multiple ways of saying be good, don't be bad.
The light of the
Essentially.
eyes rejoices the heart, and a good report makes the bones healthy. The ear that hears the rebukes of life will abide among the wise. He who disdains instruction despises his own soul, but he who heeds rebuke gets understanding. The fear of the Lord is the instruction of wisdom, and before honor is humility.
We're getting some repetition in there.
The preparations of the heart belong to man, but the answer of the tongue is from the Lord. All the ways of a man.
So the preparations of the heart belong to man. So preparing yourself, understanding God, following him, fearing God, walking in the right path, building yourself, developing that relationship with God, right? Once you develop that relationship with God, when you speak, but the answer of the tongue is from the Lord. Is that what it's saying? But when you speak, you're letting God speak through you. Is that what it's talking about? Let's look it up. Proverbs 16. The preparations of the heart belong to man. God plans and prepares, and because man is made in the image of God, it is in the nature of man to make preparations of the heart. But the answer of the tongue is from the Lord. When wisdom is given, the answer of the tongue, it is from the Lord, beyond the preparations of man's heart. Okay, so similar to what I was saying. And what did we hear? What did we learn yesterday? That the beginning of knowledge is fear of God. So wisdom comes from God.
And are pure in his own eyes, but the Lord weighs the spirits. Commit your works to the Lord, and your thoughts will be established. The Lord has made all for himself. Yes, even the wicked for the day of doom. Everyone proud in heart is an abomination to the Lord. Though they join forces, none will go unpunished.
Made the
mercy
wicked
and
for
truth,
the day of doom.
Atonement is provided for iniquity, and by the fear of the Lord one departs from evil. When a man's ways please the Lord, he makes even his enemies to be at peace with him. Better is a little with righteousness than vast revenues without justice. A man's heart plans his way, but the Lord directs his steps. Divination is on the lips of the king. His mouth must not transgress in judgment. Honest weights and scales are the Lord's. All the weights in the bag are his work. It is an abomination for kings to commit wickedness, for a throne is established by righteousness.
And anointed by God, right?
Righteous lips are the delight
God put
of
them in that
kings,
position.
and they love him who speaks what is right. As messengers of death is the king's wrath, but a wise man will appease it. In the light of the king's face is life, and his favor is like a cloud of the latter rain. How much better to get wisdom than gold, and to get understanding is to be chosen rather than silver. The highway of the upright is to depart from evil. He who keeps his way preserves his soul. Pride goes before destruction, and a haughty spirit before a fall. Better to be of humble spirit with the lowly than to divide the spoil with the proud. He who heeds the word wisely will find good, and whoever trusts in the Lord, happy is he. The wise in heart will be called prudent.
You don't have that
and
pressure on
sweetness
you.
of the
That's why
lips
all the burden on your
increases
shoulders.
learning. Understanding is a wellspring of life to him who has it, but the correction of fools is
Dang it, my
folly.
camera just died.
The heart of the wise teaches his mouth.
We're gonna have to go
and
through the
adds
rest
learning
without
to his lips.
the camera.
Pleasant words are like a honeycomb, sweetness to the soul and health to the bones. There is a way that seems
Let me do this here real quick, so that's not annoying you guys.
right to a man, but its end is the way of death. The person who labors, labors for himself, for his hungry mouth drives him on. An ungodly man digs up evil, and it is on his lips like a burning fire. A perverse man sows strife, and a whisperer separates the best of friends. A violent man entices his neighbor and leads him in a way that is not good.
Yeah. Whoa, what happened to audio?
He winks his eye to devise perverse things. He purses his lips and brings about evil. The silver-haired head is a crown of glory, if it is found in the way of righteousness. He who is slow to anger is better than the mighty, and he who...
The silver-haired head is a crown of glory. It is found in the way of righteousness. Why? I'm guessing the silver-haired head is a crown of glory in the sense that you've been through a lot, so you know, you're wise because you've gone through things. It is found in the way of righteousness, and righteousness is in the path of wisdom, so I'm thinking that's what it means.
Who rules his spirit than he who takes a city. The lot is cast into the lap, but its every decision is from the Lord. Better is a dry morsel with quietness than a house full of feasting with strife.
Which one was the... Yeah, we're getting to it.
A wise servant will rule over a son who causes shame and will share an inheritance among the brothers. The refining pot is wise than a... Better is a dry morsel with quietness than a house full of feasting with strife. A wise servant will rule over a son who causes shame and will share an inheritance among the brothers.
Oh.
The refining...
So it's showcasing the importance of wisdom here. A wise servant will rule over a son who causes shame. So a servant will take over the son's position. A wise servant will rule over a son who causes shame and will share an inheritance among the brothers. So he went from a servant to an inheritor of the rest of the siblings, because one of the sons caused shame to the family. So showcasing the blessings you can obtain by following wisdom.
pot is for silver and the furnace for gold. But the Lord tests the hearts.
So the refining pot is for silver and the furnace for gold. I don't know what a refining pot is, but I know what a furnace is. But let's look up what a refining pot is. Well, it has the word refining in it, right? Well, we can draw our own. We can figure it out. A refining pot is for silver and a furnace is for gold. So what is that? It's where you turn. I'm assuming this is where you refine silver, and a furnace for gold, right? You melt it down and create different things you want. Create. You take the raw form of it and you create beautiful jewelry and ornaments and different things. So that's what a test does. But the Lord tests the heart, right? So our refining pot is for silver, the furnace is for gold, and tests from God is for our hearts. So God will put us through things, like He will put gold through a fiery furnace in order to be melted down to create what, and to show the brilliance of the gold behind it, right? To bring out its potential in whatever it may be, right? Fasten it into a beautiful piece of jewelry or something like that. In the same way, a test from God, trials from God, will do the same thing for our heart. So we may be going through some tough times, but it is all to mold us and to bring out our hidden potential, so that we can come into our true nature and our true being, what we were meant to be, the beautiful self that we are meant to be. That's why tests are important. That's why God gives us tests.
An evildoer gives heed to false lips. A liar listens eagerly to a spiteful tongue.
So if you're going through a tough patch, just think about that. Think about, okay, maybe I'm going through this tough thing, but when I come out of it, I'm going to be a better person. I'm going to be a stronger person. I'm going to have learned something. And maybe that's why I'm in this position. Maybe that's why I was put here to grow.
He who mocks the poor reproaches his maker. He who is glad at calamity will not go unpunished. Children's children are the crown of old men, and the glory of children is their father.
Hey Ricky, I didn't see your comments. I didn't have the chat open. You commented a whole bunch. To God, one day is 1,000 years. If Jesus rose on the third day, how long did it take to create what He created? Okay, well, this is a different debate. It's a different topic, but to God, a day is 1,000 years. If Jesus rose on the third day, how long did it take to create what He created? See, the 1,000 years, one day for 1,000 years is prophetic, right? So we don't necessarily know if the creation days were necessarily 1,000 years or literal days. So I still personally believe He created the earth in 7. He created everything in 6 days. I don't think it's 1,000 each. I think it's a literal 6 days. What do you think, Ricky? The Word is created in the image of God. Who can see it? It's the tree of life and the book of life. I think you were talking about this yesterday's stream too. The Word is created in the image of God. Who can see it? It's the tree of life and the book of life. And I guess you could say, because I know Ricky speaks in riddles. I guess you could say the Bible is a love letter from God, right, to us, to give us direction. And through that, and through relationship with Him, we attain salvation and everlasting life. So, in a way, the Bible, God's Word, the book of life, leads us to everlasting life. What else does Ricky say? No, they're not willing to learn and spread their false ideas. Okay, he was talking about... Dang, I should have opened this chat, Ricky. Your work is not in vain. Be happy, brother. You're the one. Thank you, Ricky. I appreciate it. They're all fortune cookies. That's exactly what they are. Each verse is literally... Okay, it's like top tier fortune cookie. But each of these verses are literally top tier fortune cookies, giving you one-liners, great pieces of advice. Right? These are... Okay, so if somebody wants to create a 7-star Chinese restaurant, just go to Proverbs. Just pick one of these verses. You got your fortune cookie generator right here. Yeah, Ricky, my video screen is off. It crashed. No, I'm not playing video games. My camera died. So I'm still going. You can hear the audio. I don't know if you're still on, but you can hear the audio still. Hopefully you can hear the audio. Let me check. Yeah, you can hear the audio. So yeah, like the video is off, but you can hear the audio.
Excellent speech is not becoming to a fool, much less lying lips to a prince. A present is a precious stone in the eyes of its possessor. Wherever he turns, he prospers. He who covers a transgression seeks love, but he who repeats a matter separates friends. Rebuke is more effective for a wise man than 100 blows on a fool. An evil man seeks only rebellion. Therefore, a cruel messenger will be sent against him. Let a man meet a bear robbed of her cubs, rather than a fool in his folly. Whoever rewards evil for good, evil will not depart from his house.
Dang, let a man meet a bear robbed of her cubs. So you know that bear is enraged and will just rip him to shreds, batter him to death and rip him to shreds, rather than a fool in his folly. So that's how horrible meeting a fool can be. He can just drag you down. Again, so surround yourself by wise people following the path of righteousness.
The beginning of strife is like releasing water. Therefore, stop contention before a quarrel starts. He who justifies the wicked and he who condemns the just, both of them alike, are an abomination to the Lord. Why is there in the hand of a fool...
So he who justifies the wicked and he who condemns the just, both of them are alike in an abomination to the Lord. So not just... You don't have to just... So justifying the wicked and condemning the just, right? It's not you have to do both those things to be abomination. Either of those things. If you justify the wicked or if you condemn the just, both of them are alike. Both of them alike are an abomination to the Lord. Each one of those things. So justifying the wicked, we talked about this yesterday, how people want to be inclusive and they're not willing to say something is wrong when something is wrong because they don't want to offend other people. But here's the thing. Jesus loved everybody. He accepted everybody. He just didn't accept their sin. So he didn't justify their wickedness. He went and ate with them. He went and stayed with them, talked with them, mingled with them. They followed him around, but he didn't justify their wickedness. So just because you don't have to betray your morals, your beliefs, in order to be sensitive to someone else that you don't agree with. You can be friends with other people. You can be friends with people you don't agree with. You don't have to sacrifice your morals to like somebody, right? I feel like a lot of people get that confused. If they think like, if you don't agree with me in every single aspect of my belief system, then you're a bad person and you don't like me and we can't be friends. No. It's not that at all. It's, I can like you. You can be amazing. We can be great friends. I just don't agree with what you're doing, you know? Love the sinner, hate the sin. So he who justifies the wicked are an abomination to the Lord. So be careful. Don't betray your beliefs and your morals and justify the wicked. You can sympathize, you can love the wicked, a wicked person, but you don't have to love their wicked deeds. He who condemns the just, right? That's self-explanatory.
Fool, the purchase price of wisdom, since he has no heart for it. A friend loves at all times, and a brother is born for adversity.
So a brother is, even if you're facing adversity, you're both going through it together, or you're going through it, a brother is not going. He's not going to leave you.
A man devoid of understanding shakes hands in a pledge, and becomes surety for his friend. He who loves transgression loves strife, and he who exalts his gate seeks destruction. He who has a deceitful heart finds no good, and he who has a perverse tongue falls into evil. He who begets a scoffer does so to his sorrow, and the father of a fool has no joy. A merry heart does good like medicine, but a broken spirit dries the bones. A wicked man accepts a bribe behind the back to pervert the ways of justice. Wisdom is in the sight of him who has understanding, but the eyes of a fool are on the ends of the earth. A foolish son is a grief to his father,
So
and bitterness
the
to her
eyes, sight of the fool, they're all over the place. They're not focused.
who bore him. Also, to punish the righteous is not good, nor to strike princes for their uprightness. He who has knowledge spares his words, and a man of understanding is of a calm spirit. Even a fool is counted wise when he holds his peace. When he shuts his lips, he is considered perceptive.
See, that's the importance of sitting back, not opening your mouth, observing, listening. So it says, and a man of understanding is of a calm spirit. And what did it say before? A fool runs his mouth, while a wise man sits back and observes and listens and learns. Even a fool is counted wise when he holds his peace. When he shuts his lips, he is considered perceptive. See, so even a fool, if he does that, so that's how important not talking, sitting back, listening, learning, being perceptive. That's how important that is. That's how impactful that can be. You don't have to say anything. Oh, that's crazy. Because running your mouth, it can hurt you, right? Your words can hurt you. So that's what we talked about yesterday, right? You have to be careful with what you say, with what you promise. Your word is important. But yeah, that's going to be it for today. It's short, which is perfect because my camera died. I don't want to continue on for too long without the camera because we'll save more chapters for when we actually have a camera up and we're running. So that's going to be it for today. Hope you enjoyed today's reading. Apologize again for the lack of visuals. We made it halfway, right? So, yeah, that'll be it for today. Hope you enjoyed it. another series of Solomon's life pro tips. He had a lot of good ones in here today. A few repetitions, doubling down on what he said before. But yeah, that's gonna be it. And like Ricky said, these are top tier fortune cookie sayings. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed today's reading. I'll see you tomorrow. Take care. Have a great day. Bye bye.